So yesterday I went and climbed a hill.
Hello, today you join me at the top of a very windy hill named the Binn, and the reason you're joining me is because it has absolutely beautiful views. I don't know how much of this you can make out, but that's Edinburgh over there, and that see, sort of the cheapness is very windy here. Just pan across and you get Edinburgh Castle in there somewhere, I think that's it. Yep, that's Edinburgh Castle there. Zoom out a bit and get across to the Forth Bridges, which are over here. You can just about make them out. Again, apologies, it is very windy. And back out, try and give you a 360 panorama of where I am. So the bridges are over there. That's Edinburgh. Out across the Forth, some of the Forth Islands there. I'm not entirely sure which one, but that's one of the islands in the Forth. There's quite a few of those. The fortification on them out towards the North Sea, and then back inwards towards Fife. That's the northeast up there. You can just about see Kirkcaldy, which is there, and then back out around here across the Fife landscape. Not a very hilly place, Fife, but when you get to the top of a hill it sure is windy. And back round to where we started. Just thought you'd like to see that bit of beauty from where I am, from near my house.
But today is colder, darker, and it's later in the day, so I'm inside instead, and I wanted to quickly talk to you about my other channel, Art of the Elements, and the ideas behind it. So why did I start Art of the Elements? Well, firstly, Dunfermline's a pretty boring place during the summer when all your friends are still in the towns where they go to university. But seriously, this is going to sound a bit petty if anything, but I'm a chemistry student at the University of St Andrews going into my 4th year. But it always annoys me slightly how I'm expected to know things about history and literature and even art to an extent, you know, music, classical things, you know, if you look at the questions on the University Challenge, that sort of thing, just to be, you know, a well-rounded person, whereas the amount of knowledge in science that you need to be considered a well-rounded person isn't as much. Take the University Challenge example. You'll go watching a whole episode and there'll be 2 science questions, whereas there'll be 2 questions on Greek mythology as well. And that, obviously, as this angry wee scientist, gets on my goat a bit. Luckily for me, I am interested in some of these things like literature and history and politics, but not Greek mythology. And I sort of realised that these things are a lot more visible in the public eye, which is why we know more about them. We know people who've lived through historical things where we don't necessarily know people who've worked in labs. And by visible in the public life, I mean, you know, science isn't really visible in the same way. And by science, I mean more than, you know, those things that appear in toothpaste adverts, which are a load of bollocks and really bug me, personally, because those diagrams are just fancy graphics and have nothing to do with science. Also astronomy. Astronomy is a lot more visible in the news in everyday life because astronomy is the sexy science. So, I decided that I would create some easy chemistry knowledge via the medium of YouTube. The painting is partly inspired by the front cover of this book, which is Periodic Tales by Hugh Aldersey Williams. You can see sort of little images around there. I'll hold it a bit closer. Little images around there of various elements. I'm hopefully not going to copy any of these, but sometimes it might not be possible. And that book's also given me a lot of some of the reference for the actual, you know, material, as well as just the idea of creating little images for each element. The book's got a lot of interesting stories about the elements, a lot of things about their discoverers and, you know, the time surrounding the discovery, so why they were named in certain ways, you know. There was a big time nationalism when polonium, germanium and francium were all named, so they were named after their nations because that was the idea, because people were a bit more patriotic back then, they wanted to strike the identity out, and then also about how things are named now and just how the scientific community in terms of chemistry has changed slightly through the years, as well as, you know, talking about the uses of elements and how they've appeared in popular culture and a lot of things like that. So it's actually quite an interesting book if you're into that sort of thing. And I also do the painting because I have a complete lack of artistic ability, and I know I'm suck, but I'm willing to suck. Pretty much, if you want to be good at anything, you have to be willing to suck at first. No matter what it is you're good at now, I bet you could look back and think, boy, I really sucked at that when you first started. Whatever it is, you know, maybe you're a songwriter, maybe 5 years ago your songs, but now you're good at it, you know. People get better at things because they were willing to suck when they first started. Also, the paintings themselves give you something a little to look at while I'm droning on about the elements, which is also why I climbed that hill earlier on to make this video a little bit more interesting than just me sitting here droning on. And because it gives me something to look back on the folly of my youth, and when I wanted to educate strangers over the internet. So there's been a link up over there all the way throughout this video, so that you can go watch Art of the Elements if you haven't done so already. Next episode of that is going up on Sunday because I upload on Thursdays and Sundays, and the next video for this channel will hopefully be up Monday. So see you then, guys.